In this video, if you're on the fence about doing high ticket sales, I'm going to tell you why I wish I had skipped every other sales job that I ever did and just gone straight to this. Simply because of the amount of money that you can make and the lifestyle factors basically that it's going to give you. So I've worked every sales job that you can think of. I've sold real estate, home sales, I've sold tech, software. I've obviously done high ticket, but B2C and B2B. I've even sold vacuums door to door. When I was in high school, I would go knock on people's door and be like, hey, you want to buy a vacuum? Of course, I didn't want to buy it. But all of those sales jobs reached a point where the company shut down, people got laid off, or I just had to move on to a different job for reasons that were outside of my control. But in high ticket sales, if your offer goes under, for example, the next step is clear. You can just go find another offer because there's tons of them. High ticket businesses, internet businesses are exploding. And even if the product is completely different, so let's say you've been selling a high ticket coaching program, you can now go sell a marketing service. You can go from B2C, from B2C to B2B. It might take you a couple of weeks to learn the new product and the new sales process. That might be a little different, but high ticket sales jobs are basically the same across the board. Everything you learn and do in a previous role is going to apply to any high ticket role. So that makes it very easy for you to jump from offer to offer if you need to. And after you get your first job, you can get access to those better roles and you'll be able to find a new one much quicker than your first one. So the punchline of this is just security. This is probably the most secure sales job I've ever had. When real estate is bad, what is the real estate agent going to do? They're going to have to find a completely new, different thing. But in high ticket sales, you can just find another offer because, like I said, internet businesses are exploding right now and there's just tons of them that need you. And if you get experience selling one high ticket product, one high ticket role, that gives you huge leverage to get any other high ticket sales role, even if the product is completely different. So this internet business space is just getting started, and every one of them, like salespeople, are massively in demand right now. They're very hard to find, basically. Think about this. 5 years ago, how many people do you know that were posting on social media or were like addicted to social media? Way less than there are now. Now it's just a normal thing. And that was just like 5-6 years ago. Sure, lots of people were on social media in 2020, whatever, but it's way more people now. Everybody is on it. Everyone knows people who have accounts that they run or make money from, and you probably didn't even know what online business was 5-6 years ago. And look at it now. So what do you think it's going to be like 5 years from now? This is just the beginning. So if you get into this, you're never going to have to worry about money because of where this is going. The demand for salespeople is only getting bigger. All business is moving online and moving to social media. So you will always be able to find a new offer or a new business to sell for. Once you get in this, you start getting experience. The path forward for you is just very clear for a long time. But in door-to-door vacuum sales, that's probably a dead end. Another reason that remote sales, high ticket sales is the future is because in my experience working these jobs, and something I don't see anyone else really talk about, even though it's pretty obvious, is high ticket sales roles have innovated and gotten rid of all the bad parts of other sales jobs. So what does this mean? Well, it's remote, obviously, so you don't have to go to an office. But second and mainly is online businesses do not have a corporate type atmosphere. And anyone that's worked a corporate sales job knows how terrible that shit is. Having to be around weird people all day that talk about politics and TVs and sports, that's like the only thing they have to talk about. Having to follow all these pointless rules and go to like 5 pointless meetings a week. And then the thing that was the last straw for me in like a regular job, I'm about to sneeze, is that they expect you, this was the last straw for, all right, I'm good. The thing that was the last straw for me in my corporate role was you have to work there all week, but then they expect you to also like come to these like work events on the weekends, whether that was like a social thing or this extra work thing that was pointless, but they made it seem like it was part of your job. And I just couldn't like comprehend having to spend 40 plus hours a week with people working a job that you don't want to work. And then you're expected to come to these weekend social events with work people. Like that was just expected. No one questioned it. They was like, this is normal. And I was like, what the hell is this shit? I'm not doing this. When am I supposed to have a life outside of this? Never? You know what I'm saying? So that was hell. To me, at least, slowly rotting away inside while you have to put on this like fake face every day. I don't want to be here, but I'm doing this anyway, fake face for decades type shit. High ticket sales jobs don't have any of that. Most online business owners that I meet, the legitimate ones, are super cool. They're like me. They're super chill, and so are the salespeople. So it's just completely different environment and vibe, and that makes all the difference. And you know what I was thinking about last night? You know how anytime you look on Reddit or whatever, anywhere on the internet, if there's an image that's like, not safe for work, where do you think the not safe for work term comes from? Why did they call it that? Why didn't they just say, hey, this is not appropriate, or hey, this is not safe? They specifically said, this is not safe for work. It's because at work, you put on a fake face and you have to act a certain way. And there's certain things you don't do or say. It's all fake. That's like the work connotation in America, is that it's fake. You show up and you're fake. That's just accepted. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't that blow your mind? It blew my mind. Another way high ticket sales gets rid of the bad parts of normal sales jobs, or just normal sales jobs in general, is that in pretty much any sales job I ever had, you had to do lead generation or like fight for the good leads. Many sales roles I've had are like that. But in high ticket, you're speaking with warm inbound leads, thanks to social media. And in every sales job outside of this that I've had, my entire job was basically lead generation. I was just doing outbound like 95% of the time. But in high ticket, when they have a full calendar, then they're going to hire the reps to take those calls. So if they're running paid traffic, they're going to fill up the calendar with booked calls for those reps to take. And also, they have a social media brand, most likely, that's bringing in tons of leads as well from the content organically. So it's a complete opposite of other sales roles. They bring you on when they have warm leads for you to sell to, when they have people that are ready to buy. Whereas in most bad sales jobs, they bring you on and have you work old leads, or they don't even have any leads to work and they just want you to create the business yourself out of thin air because the business owner was too lazy. Business owner was too lazy to do the upfront work himself before hiring you. And that's just like the absolute, if you were going to pick the worst way to run a business, that's the worst way. But this is 99% of businesses. Clown world. In high ticket, a business owner will typically scale that up as high as he can all by himself before he hires anybody because they want to keep all the money and they need to learn every aspect of the business first, the marketing, the sales, the delivery, all this stuff, the lead generation. And also, you can run up an internet digital product or service business pretty damn high all by yourself before you need to hire even one person. That's just the world we live in. So when it is time to bring on a salesperson, he's swamped. He should have done that like a month or two ago, which is the ideal situation. So that means when you come in as the rep, your calendar is full. Your only job is to close the sales, and that is it, which is the way sales should be. That's the definition of sales. So all these things I just mentioned innovated on how sales jobs used to be, and high ticket just made it better and more efficient for the salespeople. And I don't ever see anyone talking about that, which is like the key thing. I'm like, this is why this is amazing, but no one's talking about it. Next, most of the offers that you sell for will be 1 to 2 call closes max. In tech, in software sales, I would talk to businesses like 5 times or more before they would sign. The deals were big and expensive, sure, but I would talk to them just like over and over and over before they would sign on, and that would go on for months sometimes. I would lay awake at night in bed, just like bug-eyed, just like staring at the ceiling, like, is this business I talked to 12 times over the past 2 months gonna buy, or am I gonna lose this deal, right? Like, when will they close? And they're also shopping you against all your competitors, so it puts you in this really desperate place when you get on the phone. Like, they have all the power, basically. In high ticket with internet, a lot of people you speak to are simply buying from the business you're selling for because they like that guy's brand. They just like him and they like his content. And that makes a huge difference. Lastly, you can make really good money doing this for the right amount of work. So what do I mean by that? In high ticket, you're selling expensive products. Obviously, they cost a lot of money. And in good jobs, the businesses that you're selling for are making at least $100K a month. So you should be getting paid $10K a month and more than that. So you are creating the actual business, and it's really lucrative for both sides. The business owner gets to stack all this money and focus on the business while you close all the sales, and you get to make $10K a month and more for just doing this one thing, which is closing sales that are on a calendar, taking money from people that already want to buy. In real estate, if I wanted to get like a $6,000 commission check, I would have to sweat, bro, for months and months and do all of this in-person work, constantly driving places, endless phone calls, like just for one sale. And I'd have to listen to people complain about this endless list of nonsense, like, oh, these windows, oh, there's a crack in the foundation here, or they found this, and on and on and on. For months, that is not the right amount of work for $6,000. And in software sales, you have to deal with all the corporate shit I talked about every single day, while sweating my balls off to make these sales for months to make like a low to mid six figures. So in high ticket, you get paid for doing the right amount of work. These are, in my experience, the reason why this type of sales is only going to get much bigger in the future, and why for lifestyle factors and for the money, you cannot beat this. You cannot beat high ticket. Put it this way, I don't have to do anything I don't want to do ever. So that's the end of the video. If you want my help getting a closer role or a setter role, go to the links in the description. Until next time.